Well, welcome everybody to eTech's podcast. I am excited today because I got to have the opportunity to talk to Bill Leider. And Bill, I got to tell you, your guest, I'm genuinely encouraged because not only to learn from you, but as I got to know you over the last couple of weeks, I mean, you spent decades advising organizations. I mean, early startups, all the way to Fortune 500s. And really what I learned about you is what separates you from most advisors, that you're bringing this neuroscience to the equation. And that's the lens which you've explained to me how leaders actually think, decide, reinvest themselves, which we both know as executives that's the highest stakes you can be. You're also the author of What's Next. I can't wait to read this, which tackles personal reinvention, which, we go through a serve model at eTech, and I believe in continually reinventing myself. So I love that framework of how the brain actually works. And wish I had it decades ago when I started my career. You also sit on boards of several institutes, Neuro Innovation, Score the Village, and you're also a managing partner of Axis Group, I think was what I read. And really what I wanted to talk about today is we talk a lot about technology. AI right now, everybody's talking about process, technologies. Rarely do we slow down enough, in my opinion, to really talk about the leaders running and all and how it happens. So that's why I'm so excited about today's session. Any words, Bill, from you before I kick us off?
Hello.
That's awesome.
Let's go.
Let's go dig in. So, let's talk about this. Question number one. AI seems to trigger a lot of anxiety, not just about jobs, about identity too. From your perspective, why does major change often leave people feeling stuck or frozen? And what does it tell us about the human brain facing what's next?
Sure. Well, AI is probably the most profound change that we've ever experienced at any age, because it changes the fundamental ways in which people think and relate and connect to each other or don't. And now you can connect to an app instead of a person. I mean, it's mind blowing. So, neuroscience, our brains are hardwired from 300,000 years ago with two instincts. I call them our shadow values in the book, but two instincts that were wired into our brains for our survival. One is the avoidance of discomfort, and change represents discomfort. Change is always uncomfortable because we have to abandon old views and old learning, start with a blank slate in our minds, and learn again an entirely new way of being. That scares the hell out of people. Okay, the other instinct is the need for instant gratification, instant rewards. We want it now.
It's so true.
300,000 years ago, now meant I can eat today because I may not be around tomorrow. So the survival instincts that served us very well 300,000 years ago, society has moved on, working infinitely more complex. The issues are not the same. The guy that comes to my door every afternoon wearing a blue uniform he's not stalking me. He's the mail carrier. So, 300,000 years ago, I would have killed him. Today, I say, hi, glad to see you. So how does that affect us in a leadership role? New developers are disruptors. They are change agents. People admire them and fear them simultaneously. I like what you're doing, I think, but I won't know for sure until I see it, try it, use it, and adopt it, right? But there's no guarantee that that's gonna happen. So a developer is operating on his or her instincts, her belief that they've invented or are creating the next great thing. Sometimes they're right. Statistically, mostly they're wrong. It's back to the drawing board. So hence, we have these axioms in business. Um, fail early and fail often. Well, there's a reason for that because you want to try something and test it and see what its acceptance rate before you spend another $1 billion in venture capital and private equity developing it and losing credibility, and you introduce it and it's a dud.
So true.
So if you test early, test often, get feedback, learn, adapt, grow, you've got a better chance of succeeding. And if you create a culture within your company that is comfortable with constant redevelopment, constant learning, you've got a shot at having not just a good product, but a good organization.
So true. I mean, I hear, and you're exactly right. Like when you think about it from an ops perspective, I mean, we're a big global BPO. When you're managing thousands of agents and somebody announces this AI rollout, the anxiety is not abstract. It's immediate. Like people
Yes.
are calculating their own math. Well, how many calls is this bot going to handle? What's left for me to do? Their
Yeah.
brains, I think, sometimes freezes, and leaders don't have that luxury to let it sit. I mean, it's so true what you said. I'm taking lots of notes, by the way, too. So let's get into the next one. So much of this AI conversation focuses on algorithmic bias. From a leadership and self awareness lens, how important is it for leaders to examine their own unconscious assumptions before even introducing this technology into their
Yeah.
culture?
Yes. Well, there's an old rule, an old principle. Change begins from within. You can't hope to change the behavior or the attitude or the outlook of others until your own attitude, your own beliefs are healthy. And you must be the first adapter because if you're not talking about what you believe and already are, you don't have any credibility.
So
You
true.
can talk forever and most people are not going to believe you. They won't trust you. So you must first work on yourself before you even think about others. And if you don't come at it from that healthy foundation, you are not authentic. And when you're not authentic, people don't trust you. And when they don't trust you, they don't follow you or they exhibit passive aggressive behavior. They say yes, 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 but they don't do anything. And you say, what's wrong with these people? There's nothing wrong with them. They don't trust you. You haven't earned it.
It
So
it
you
it's
must
so
be
true.
prepared to start with
Yeah.
yourself.
It's so true.
Simple and true.
It is. This one hits actually home for me because I've seen some really experienced leaders in our business where they'll implement AI and they're baking a bias into it. They're saying, what does a good agent look like in the models and whatever they're building? They
Sure.
predefined these benchmarks. And one of the things I've seen in my career, they didn't take a step back to actually ask the person who's doing the job every day of what it looks for. I mean, so like when you're talking about examining yourself before introducing the new systems, If you think about in a development world, right? It's not a one-time exercise, if
Right.
I hear you correctly. Like before you go live, you really need to have disciplines to actually run the business, and every threshold you set for that change, every outcome could be optimized. Did I
Yeah.
get that correct?
Yes, and when you do it once and you embody it and you live it, each change, you already have established credibility. You've already established trust. You don't have to start from square one.
You're
You're
right. Trust
way
is
ahead
so
of the game.
important
By
too.
building a foundation, you build a house. If you don't have a foundation, it's gonna fall down. You have to start over from scratch.
So true. A lot of people are talking about, like, and I'm seeing it online too. So I don't know if you've seen these. There's a bunch of articles out on LinkedIn about will I be replaced? Right?
Yeah.
How many people, or many people, I should say, not how many, but many people quietly fear of becoming irrelevant as
Yes.
automation gets better,
Yes.
increases.
Yes.
What's your advice? Like, how do leaders help their teams more forward or away from will I be replaced to how do I evolve?
Well, that's a complex question with a
Of course
complex
it is.
answer. So let's we have 2 hours, right?
Yeah. All
Oh,
day we have.
uh, okay, so let's start with something. First of all, AI can do incredible things.
Hmm.
So far, it cannot express emotion or empathy.
I love it.
Love it. So if I'm at the receiving end, I'm the poor guy on the front line who's fearing being replaced. You know, for people who are not willing to learn, yeah, they'll probably be replaced, or some of their functions will be replaced. But the best way to avoid being replaced is to grow yourself. What new skills must I learn in order to be able to use AI to assist me, not to replace me? And the people who do that thrive. They know more. And even if they ultimately get laid off for other reasons, you know, because layoffs are, it's a continuous wave. Our economy's been doing that way, way before AI came along. But the people who have the most marketable skills have no trouble finding a new home. So you're not building your skills just to keep your job. You're building your skills so that you become a desirable entity within yourself. People want you for your skills, even in another business that has no relationship to the one you're in, because you have aptitude, you have attitude, you're a learner, you're a quick study, you're a very, very desirable employee. So stop looking for someone else to solve your problem.
Oh, I love that.
Learn, grow, find a way to contribute, find a way to add value to you.
It's so true, and you think about in our business, right? We talk about upskilling people all the time, reskilling, career
Yeah,
pathing,
yeah,
all valid. You're 100% right, but I think you just nailed it. What people actually need to hear, their judgment, empathy, all those skills we talked about still matters. And when you're trying to thrive alongside AI, right? The escalation is the emotional complexity, those moments where a customer needs someone who can actually listen to them, who understands. That's high value work, to your point. Leaders
yes,
have to stop framing AI as a replacement threat and start framing it where it is a clear path to more meaningful work,
or
right?
meaningful work.
That's the
Exactly,
talking points. I
exactly.
love that one.
Yeah,
Love that.
yeah, yeah. As you become more meaningful, you become more valuable.
You're right.
As you become, yeah, not only do you get another job, it pays more. It's a better benefits,
It is.
better
It is.
benefits,
It is a better benefit when
better
you get
stock
paid more,
options. Better, I mean, come on.
and it's so true. This is great stuff. So, by the way, in your book, what's next? It speaks directly to moments of transition, and what
Yes.
I love, that reinvention. For
Yes.
leaders who feel overwhelmed by change, especially in 2026 and beyond, what's the first inner shift they need to make before
Ah,
external reinvention can occur?
curiosity.
Oh, I love that word.
Curiosity. I mean, there are many words. This is one good place to start. It's not the only place because everybody's different, everybody's unique.
Yep.
So, first of all, you become curious about yourself. Why do I believe what I believe? And that leads you to introspection, going deep within yourself to understand how you came to be your present self and what parts of your present self are built on beliefs you acquired early in life that no longer serve you. I My own experience is, oh my God. I mean, it just I'm just a bundle of misperceptions, and uh, I had to abandon so much of myself to become who I am today. All aspects of my life changed, not just the business part, but that introspection process requires a certain discipline. It is the discipline to just stop, stop, take a beat, and just be quiet.
That's a tough one for me, Bill. I talk a lot.
Yeah. But how much do you learn while you're talking?
You don't learn anything.
Exactly.
And what it's like, what I'd say, you're so spot on for this, for these listeners. Like, leaders struggle because they built their identity around certainty
Yes.
versus curiosity. I
Yes.
love the word curiosity, right? Because curiosity is really an easy way for me to say it would be asking more questions instead of, hey, I need to have the answer, to I need to ask the right questions. And that is
Yes.
just gold.
Yes.
That is gold.
So, okay. So, in your reflections, imagine yourself as a 5-year-old.
That's easy.
Their 5-year-olds become our teachers because they never stop asking questions. Why is the sky blue? Why is the grass green? And usually, dad answers for the boys, mom answers for the girls,
That's
but
for the girls.
you know,
Yep.
so so why is the sky blue? Why is the grass green? Why do I have a PP but my sister doesn't? And your dad says, ask your mother. And the kid says, I already did. She told me to ask you.
I was gonna say the same thing. I do that today. My daughter, I have a 24-year-old, I have a 17-year-old daughters at home, and they come to daddy for one thing, mommy for the other. And
Yep.
we always
Yep.
say the same thing. What'd your mother say? Mother said,
Yep.
ask you. It's so true. So true.
So so become that 5-year-old full of questions. And each question leads to two more questions, which leads to two more questions. And that's how you learn. So, and as a entrepreneur leader and you're hiring employees, the single greatest um, probability of hiring employees who will succeed is not their past experience, is curiosity and and aptitude.
I love it.
if you're curious about what you can do, and you have the aptitude to be a fast learner, you're going to become a great employee.
So true. I'll piggyback off yours. We have 2
Yeah.
questions left. So the next one, looking back over the decades of leadership evolution, which we all know about, what advice would you give to today's listeners and leaders about staying relevant without losing themselves?
Rule number one: believe in yourself. Believe in your ability to learn, to adapt, to grow, and to become someone in an entirely different skin than the one you currently occupy. Be that person. You can read about it, learn the skills, but you have to do it. Become that person. That makes reinvention a portion of yourself, the portion that won't no longer serve you, and prepares you to step into a new reality with a personality that adapts to it. Be empathetic. Be empathetic. Accept people where they are for who they are and understand them from their perspective, which is very different from yours.
Like that, and I'm gonna take your other words you said, like, for me, I'm looking at it as being so curious, genuine. There's a lot of people anymore, and I see this online. I'm sure you do as well. Leaders might read a report, right? And they think they're staying current, right?
Yes.
But everybody's reading that same report. That's not really what's current. The leaders I respect the most are probably the ones who listen, are curious to ask questions, right? They don't lose themselves by doing this. It helps them stay grounded with their people, and grounding yourself with your people is probably what separates people who, adapt,
Yeah.
your
Yes.
word, to lead
Yes.
who just narrate, right? That's
Yes.
my opinion.
Yes. And, as a leader, I think one of the most important qualities in your culture um, have to do with diversity.
Yep,
But I'm not talking about the standard
I
definition of
gotcha.
diversity. I'm talking about diversity of thought.
Yeah, I love that. Diversity of thought.
You get into a room full of people to have a meeting, and if everybody is singing the same tune in the same key, nothing exciting is going to happen. And, diversity of thought means that you as a leader, again, looking within, how will you receive information that you totally disagree with? And you say, "Well, yeah, what are you crazy? What are you thinking?" Instead saying, "Wait a minute, here's an opportunity to learn something. Let's roll that out. Let's play it forward. How would that work?" And a new idea is born. It's born from collaboration of different views. Now, when you have people with different views, all the other stuff happens too. Different cultures, different colors, different religions, different political beliefs, all of that melt away for the pursuit of diverse thinking. Now, you as a leader, what can you do for your own diversity? Read about subjects that are outside your area of expertise. For me, personally, and my wife, we began reading the work of Stoics, the early philosophers who wrote and taught in the years 50 to 200 AD. Their ideas are even more powerful today than they were when they wrote them.
That's amazing.
Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and a more current one, um, whose name just escaped me, but he wrote a book called that people can understand. Um, the Daily Stoic and The Obstacle is the Way.
Obstacles the way.
Ryan Holiday,
Okay.
Austin, Texas,
Yeah.
your neighborhood.
I'm from San Antonio.
He's just absolutely brilliant, and he brings the ancient wisdom into modern times.
I have to look that one up. I heard of him. Yeah,
Now,
absolutely.
as a leader,
Mhm.
wow, wow, it will change your whole take on life. It's not about technology, it's not about what you already know. It's a whole new way of thinking and being. My wife told me the 2 books that changed her life, The Daily Stoic and my book, What's Next? She said, "I've read those 2 books. I'm a different person. I'm not upset by any of the external events that are going on. I'm not distracted." And that's one of the keys to being a leader is to avoid distractions, shiny objects that promise instant rewards. Back to our basic instincts, 300,000 years old. You can't erase them because they're hardwired, but you can override them.
Ken.
Override them requires constant awareness and to develop skill, and it is something you have to develop. It takes time and practice, and you'll make many mistakes, but avoiding distractions. And that's the Stoics talking. Avoiding distractions. Focus on what affects you and what you have control over. Everything else, get rid of it.
It's so funny because a lot of people think they can control everything, and you're right, like, what's in my control is really what I need to be worried about. Our last bonus and ending question, so we give, people, learned a lot. I love what you talk about in culture. So, what's one piece of advice? And you gave lots of it, by the way. I took a whole page of notes, by the way. But, like, if you were to give some young kid, young leader, or even an older leader like ourselves, what would it take to create that high performing culture that I think you and I are so aligned in, to get them to grow? What's one good piece of advice? And besides, we're going to put your book link in this so everybody can get a copy of your book, number one. And we're going to
Okay.
put your LinkedIn in there as well so they can connect with you. But what's
Well,
one good advice?
it's self-interest. That's the most important thing in the world you could read. Well, okay, maybe it's second. Okay. The Bible might be ahead of it.
The Bible's definitely the head.
Uh, be the culture you want to create.
Oh, be the culture you want to create. I wrote that one down as well, Bill.
Because we all have this inner culture, our beliefs, our vision, our greater purpose. They're the foundations of any culture. You know, Apple had a greater purpose to change the world with information. Yeah, yeah, they make computers and iPhones and lots of cool stuff, but they don't do anything that doesn't have world-changing implications. They don't take on any small ideas. They only want big ideas because that's their purpose.
It's so true, and the purpose is right. Like, if you think about it, the highest performing cultures, they all share one trait. They've normalized change, what you talked about in the beginning, right? Change at every level of the organization, not just the executive level. And the other thing I'd say is it's about building an environment or a culture where people feel equipped to adapt, which is another thing you taught me
Yeah,
today.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, growth can't happen. It needs the right environment to actually let you
yeah.
grow as well.
Yep. Something we didn't have time to talk about today, but that is framing. How you frame an issue or a question or a goal,
Oh,
how you frame it will determine the answer, the outcome,
the
the
outcome.
culture. So if in terms of framing, if you can view change as the new normal, it's no longer a disruption. It's something you want because it's how you become normal. And when you're normal and you're changing, you are relevant. Relevance, in my view, is the fountain of youth.
I like the relevance. We
You
might have to
become
do
it.
part two, Bill, just so we're clear. Now you just gave us a tease of part two that we have to do on
Guess what?
framing and
Guess
goals.
what? Guess what? That was my intention all along.
That's awesome. I mean, it has been just awesome to speak with you today, to learn from you. I feel blessed that we met. It's
And
crazy. It's crazy how people meet online and just
yes,
we click together with some of the same beliefs. And I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for joining me today. We are definitely going to do another one in the next couple months so that we can get into the framing. But man, I got a whole bunch of notes. Any last comments you want to make? We'll have your LinkedIn and your book and everything in this podcast. Any last minute thoughts to the audience before we say goodbye?
take what you have today, dwell on it, let it percolate, reflect on it, see how it applies to you, and begin to become that person.
We heard it from
And
Bill. Become that person. Go ahead, Bill. What else?
and I'm honored and thankful for being here. I really, really appreciate what you've done. Thank you.
We appreciate you. Thank you guys so much. Everybody, subscribe underneath below. All the information's below to connect with Bill and get a copy of his book. You all have a great week.